Tantor Audio presents It's Not Over, Getting Beyond Tolerance, Defeating Homophobia, and Winning True Equality by Michelangelo Signorile. Narrated by Patrick Lawlor. Author's Note: It's Not Over looks at dramatic ongoing transformations in politics, society, and culture whose effects are focused on lesbian, gay, bisexual, and transgender Americans. Those terms, lesbian, gay, bisexual, and transgender, describe distinct groups and identities that have intersected as a people, though each group has its own unique history. The acronym LGBT is useful as an umbrella term in that it encompasses all the groups without negating the important differences among them. The challenge that anyone writing about these groups faces is to balance keeping them visible both separately and together, all without being repetitive. My hope is that listeners appreciate and understand the inherent challenges in writing about these groups and their intersections, as well as the spirit of my undertaking. I have done my best to represent everyone I'm writing about by alternating among the historical, all-encompassing use of the word gay, the term LGBT, and more specific combinations of the words that acronym comprises. In a similar way, this book often uses the word homophobia to encompass biphobia, lesbophobia, and transphobia. Again, it would be challenging and cumbersome to use all of these words in every instance. I use certain words such as transphobia throughout the book when they are relevant and appropriately specific, but I rely primarily on the term homophobia to draw together several different but interrelated phenomena. When I write about the closet in It's Not Over, I discuss it as it relates to sexual orientation, not gender identity. There is long-standing agreement among mental health professionals as well as gay activists that closeting one's sexual orientation exerts psychological costs and causes harm. For transgender people, the idea of the closet and publicly acknowledging being transgender takes on a much different meaning. It's been a topic of discussion for some time among transgender activists and writers, whose work should be read to help people become more informed of the ongoing conversation. It's Not Over often quotes listeners to my radio program, as well as interviews from the show. For context, the Michelangelo Signorile Show is a news, commentary, and call-in show covering progressive and LGBT political and cultural issues. The show began on Sirius XM's OutQ channel, the first national LGBT radio channel, and after 10 years moved to Sirius XM Progress in July 2013. It airs 3 hours each weekday afternoon all across the United States and Canada. On Progress, the show has a larger, diverse mix of LGBT and heterosexual listeners. Most are progressives, but many, I'm happy to say, are conservatives who call in to challenge and be challenged and to spark discussion. The listeners are diverse in many other ways as well. They come from every geographic region, for example, as the show is heard from big cities to small towns and even in the most remote rural areas of the United States and Canada. I also often refer to and use passages from my opinion pieces, interviews, and analysis on Huffington Post in this book. Serving as editor-at-large of Huffington Post's Gay Voices vertical since November 2011 has been a dynamic experience, and much of the input I have received from the large and diverse readership there is also reflected in this book. 1. Victory Blindness. The dangerous illusion that we've almost won. Imagine a group of people who have spent decades, generations, centuries in fear, invisibility, struggle, and silence. Imagine they find their voice only to be decimated by an era of death and unthinkable loss, made more bitter by crushing societal indifference to their predicament. Now imagine that in a matter of a few short years, everything seems to change. At what feels
Sample complete. Ready to continue?